So a question has come up a few times in conversations with patrons recently as to how well the Cybex Priam performs in Nordic conditions, and I thought this might be worth making a video about. And judging then from how I've seen the model do here in Norway, as far as terrain capability is concerned, the Priam is more of a downtown stroller, rather than a model that's going to really be comfortable to use off-road. Not that it can't take some dirt paths, of course, as long as they're well maintained. It can also handle lighter snow, gravel, and most cobblestones, though I'd note that the Priam suspension is a little on the minimalistic side, the front wheels are only 7 inches in diameter, the handle sits a bit loose, and the rest of the chassis is fairly rigid, all of which means that strolling is a bit uncomfortable with continuously bumpy ground. Like if virtually all the streets where you live are rougher cobblestones, or if snowy sidewalks melt and refreeze several times over, leaving lots of ice ridges and craters. As far as durability goes, as with any stroller that's been on the market for so long, occasional problem areas are a bit more apparent, where the Priam can sometimes develop issues with the handle, the telescopic elements of the folding system, the brakes, front swivel wheels, and sometimes the luck seat, which is the weakest part of the model. That being said, however, overall, other than the chassis loosening up, the Priam tends to hold up pretty well in comparison to a lot of similar strollers, being sturdily designed, with reinforced hinges and connection points, metal components inside the central hub, strong bars, and a decent amount of cross support. The fact that Cybex only gives a 2-year guarantee and doesn't sell replacement components other than the whole chassis with the seat frame is a bit unfortunate for the price in my opinion, but at least when it comes to Northern Europe, and Canada as well as far as I know, consumer protection laws will extend coverage for many sorts of problems beyond 2 years, putting the responsibility on distributors rather than Cybex themselves. Alright, last up when looking at how the Priam performs in Nordic conditions, I'd like to make a few extra notes on comfort and ease of use. The first being that one of the appeals of the Priam sometimes is that the luck seat can be used for newborns when fully flat, which cuts out the cost of a bassinet. But one really ought to consider winter in my opinion when making this choice, as a bassinet provides much better insulation, which can often be a necessity. Secondly, it's worth noting that the Priam can't fold down as a single piece with the seat reversed, and is also a bit taller than average when folded due to how the handle protrudes, which may be relevant if you're looking at the Priam for its somewhat smaller size versus other popular models like the Bugaboo Fox 5 for example, since this sort of negates the idea that it will actually feel that much smaller or lighter to deal with. And lastly, though the front wheels are, as I mentioned, a bit small for some rougher conditions, it would be unfair not to mention that there are 2 front frame attachments that can help out, in particular in the middle of winter, being the Priam front wheel set, which transforms the model into an old school style fixed wheel stroller, and the Priam skis. In general, I find the first more useful, and though overusing this attachment will accelerate wear and loosening to the chassis, due in particular to the extra weight, it can still be handy to have for dealing with heavier snow. In any case, we hope you found this video interesting, and if you did, please subscribe, as this sort of support really helps us to continue making videos in the future. If you'd like to know more about the Priam, we have an in-depth review of the current version of the model, and a link has been added in the description. In addition, if you're currently shopping for a stroller, we have a buyer's guide on our Patreon page which lists a wide range of models that we recommend, with a lot of technical and lifestyle related information. You can find it by following the link in the description as well. Thank you.